this is what it looks like when you've got a suspected turbo blown. So I'm going to start by removing the inlet manifold. Okay, so first things first, we're going to need to get under the engine and remove all of the plastic coverings. Now a lot of times these are damaged, so be careful, because you don't want damaged ones, because they just end up rattling on your engine. So we're going to start by removing the dipstick, and then it's just about taking off the cap and lifting up the cover straight up. No pulling or yanking, just lift straight up. Don't forget to replace the dipstick, because it's something you'll forget if you don't put it back in straight away. Okay, with a set of monkey wrenches or long nose pliers, whatever you've got to hand, just undo the clips that hold onto the actual air box itself and to the actual turbo intake, and remove the hose itself. We also have to remove the intake hose going into the inlet manifold itself. It's pretty simple. Just as the last hose we removed, just release them spring clips. On the 150 brake horsepower versions, they've got a slightly different clip, but it's the same procedure. Remove all the hoses going to the EGR valve and all connecting hoses. Just very simple, just a screwdriver and push everything back. Once again, you're going to need a 10mm socket to relieve the turbo intake hose, as you see what I'm doing there. And I think this is the N75 or N95 valve. I can't remember what number valves this is, but just release the hose from there so that the inlet manifold is totally free. This is the breather hose. It's just a pull thing. It's come off. There you go. Now it's on to removing the EGR return pipe. You have to remove this to remove the EGR manifold itself. It is actually just two 6mm Allen bolts. And once you've released that, you can actually drop that pipe down and get access to the hidden bolt behind it, which attaches the EGR valve or the anti-shudder drought valve onto the inlet manifold itself. So once you've dropped them two, you've got access. Now you can see this picture, there's two Allen bolts there. I didn't get it too well there, but they're just underneath there. They're 6mm also, just undo them. As you can see them here. Make sure not to lose these screws. They are all the same size, but make sure not to lose them, because it's aggro getting them back. Now there's one just now where we removed the EGR valve, there's another hidden screw just underneath there. Now fortunately mine was a little bit loose and I was able to get to it, but once you've loosened it with your ratchet, just undo it with your hand and the EGR valve comes out. Now we're on to removing the pipe that comes up from the exhaust manifold itself. Now you're going to need a 13mm socket to release it. Now this can be a little bit tough sometimes, because it does get very hot. When metal gets hot, it virtually welds itself on. So with a 13mm socket, just release this pipe from the actual exhaust manifold, the turbo manifold itself. You could actually put some WD-40 here, because that won't do it no harm. Like I said, it is a part that gets hot and virtually welds itself on. But it's two 13mm sockets. Make sure you get a good fit, push down, and it will come off. It's important to remember when you take this EGR pipe off, it does have a gasket, so try not to lose that. Now we're going to remove the oil pipe clamp. It just holds it and secures it in place. This is the oil feed that feeds the turbo. It's a simple 10mm socket. Once you've released it, it just gives you that little bit more area to work in, so just get that undone. Now everything's moved out of the way, you can get direct access to the bolts that actually hold the manifold in. Now these are 6mm hex or Allen key bolts. Just take your time with these, because I almost rounded out the nut inside of it and it's not a good look. So just take your time and loosen it, try and crack the initial pressure and then undo the rest by hand. As you can see, I'm just trying to show you a different angle. This is a very tough thing to actually shoot, but I think you're getting the gist of what I'm trying to do. So once, like I said, once it's loose enough and you can get it off by hand, just undo the rest by hand. When you're undoing the last bolt, just support the engine manifold, because it will basically just drop and fall down, and there's no need for that. So once that's removed, just pull it out, pull it straight up, and that's it, you're done. There you go. That's how to remove an engine manifold. Now this is part of me doing the turbo removal, so be sure to watch. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe.